What's going on, everybody? Sydney here. Shout out to everyone for getting in here, being involved. Anyone who is in the manosphere, who knows good content, knows where I mildly plagiarized that from. Shout out to Coach Greg Adams for that one. Man, guys, I've got a killer article for you today. And I just feel like this is super relevant, particularly coming into December very shortly. Coming into December in 2 days. That is 3, whatever, right? We're at the tail end of November here. Christmas parties are starting to happen right about now. And guys, a couple of years ago, when I first started this channel, one of the videos that I did was actually on my work Christmas party. And how the women were fucking running riot, all drunk, carrying on. And dudes were copping the raw end of the stick when they'd done less, but they were getting punished more, right? Because of special treatment, yada yada. You know how it goes. And I spotted this really cool article from a gentleman called Pat Fitzpatrick. 2 Pats in there. Well, you can't have Fitzpatrick without Pat, right? And this article says, has hashtag MeToo killed the Christmas party? Guys, we don't even need to get to the end of the video for you to know the answer to that one. Of course it killed the freaking Christmas party. All you have to do is even look at it go the wrong way. And let me share a little anecdote from a situation that happened the other day while I was on my security shift. Now, this particular female, she was inebriated, shall we say. She'd had a few to drink. She wasn't stumbling all over the place, but she'd clearly downed a few wines, maybe more than she needed to. And I was having a discussion with her about her overly inebriated male friend, to be fair, and he was pretty good about it all. But she is going off. She's like, all of my company come here. We're never going to come here again. You were so rude. My friend's here from overseas for one night, and all we wanted was one night to go out and have a good time, and you've ruined it. And I said, look, I haven't actually asked you to leave. What I was saying to you is your friend is, intoxicated. She goes, what makes you say he's intoxicated? I said, well, we're trained in responsible service of alcohol. And one of the signs we actually look for is being unsteady in your feet, red eyes, squinting eyes, and also slurring in speech. And he's showing me all 4 of those indicators. She goes, I've got my RSA too. I know what I'm talking about. I said, well, to be fair, given that you have your RSA, you should know that these are signs of intoxication. She goes, yeah, but he's not showing any of those signs. I said, well, the fact that you're being argumentative and belligerent with me, and that you can't see your friend stumbling in front of you as he's walking to the toilet, right? When you're RSA trained, gives me further cause to believe that you're intoxicated to a point where it would not be, where I'd be legally obligated to ask you to leave the venue. She started losing her absolute shit. And I was like, man, can you imagine being a security guard at one of these parties with the obligations that we have to make sure that no intoxicated people are on the venue? I just don't even. I've actually got a couple of events which I've got one this afternoon at 4:30, tomorrow at 5, and another one. It's all at the same place, and I have a feeling they're all Christmas parties. It's going to be interesting. Thank God I have more than one guard with me. I'm just going to set them onto them because I'm just not dealing with any drunk bitches. Straight out. They are the drunk guys, right? If you're a dick to them, they'll arc up. But at least if you're nice to them, they'll be like, yeah, man, look, I understand. I've had a few to drink. And they get it. They'll go home. Women, oh my God, totally different kettle of fucking fish. Yeah, sure. Sometimes they agree that they're drunk and sometimes they go home. But more often than not, they'll just argue with you and they'll blame you for their night not turning out badly. It's like, well, bitch, you shouldn't have been drinking all afternoon. Literally. And if a guy argued with me to that level that women argue with me too, which, by the way, hasn't yet happened. I've never had a guy reach that point of argumentativeness with me. Plenty of women reach that point, more often than not. But if a guy reached that point of being argumentative, I would have said exactly the same thing. I would have had exactly the same approach. But I just don't need to go there with men because they don't get to that point. So, given that women are more emotionally driven and men are more logically focused, yes, men have emotion, yes, women have logic. But there tends to be a bit of a skewing there. You know, and it's a trend. We know this trend. Here we go. As a new survey reveals that 20% of work-related sexual harassment happens at social events, many employers have cracked down on the festive revelry, writes Pat Fitzpatrick. Now, I see plenty of chicks grabbing asses and, you know, touching other girls' boobs. But that's cool, because they're a woman, so they're not trying to sexually harass them, are they? Even when they are. But as a dude, I can't even look at a bitch the wrong way. And I use this term bitch to describe crazy, unreasonable females, not to describe all females. And whenever females are drunk, the vast majority of them are crazy and unreasonable. Here we go. She was laughing at him a bit nervously, so myself and two other guys started dancing around Denise to keep him at bay. He saw this as a challenge and started to charge our cordon, bullfighting style. The whole dance floor was looking on now, laughing their asses off at Kieran's rubbish attempts to get with Denise. Rubbish attempts, huh? That sounds like a bit of shaming language to me, which of course is textbook female approach, but it's none of my business, right? Whatever. Let's continue. Eventually he gave up and went off to get another drink. I met him in the Jacks later on and told him in a friendly way that he should be more careful about that kind of carry-on in front of everyone. He said he couldn't help it, and then he tried to wash his hair in the sink. I told the other two guys about it when I got back outside. We had a good old laugh about it. We wouldn't laugh at it now. The hashtag MeToo movement has achieved a lot of things very quickly. One is to persuade the majority of guys it isn't funny to try and charge through some men to get at a woman at her Christmas party. It's shitty, it ruins her night, and her having to laugh at it in some cases. Her having to laugh at it in case people think she's not a good sport is even worse. It isn't a bit of fun, it's sexual harassment. Now I'm just gonna say, guys, if you are coming on to women hard at a Christmas party, it doesn't come across well. It doesn't look good on you. Even as a dude watching you, you look like a bit of a dick. And I'm not saying this to white knight for the chicks, genuinely, right? I couldn't give a shit what you do with yourself. But I do care if you lose your career over a Me Too allegation. I do care that you lose the respect of your peers. Right? There's a way to approach women and there's a way not to. And the way not to approach women is drunk and desperate, because that's really going to fuck you. Let me tell you that right now. And not in a good way. Just to be clear, sexual harassment is defined in the Equal Employment Equality Acts 1998 to 2015 as any form of unwanted verbal, non-verbal, or physical conduct of a sexual nature which has the purpose or effect of violating a person's dignity and creating an intimidating, hostile, degrading, humiliating, or offensive environment for the person. Here's the thing. Just chatting to a lady at a Christmas party and trying to, you know, get buddy-buddy with her, that's not necessarily a sexual advance. That is not necessarily a verbal conduct of a sexual nature, which has the purpose or effect of violating a person's dignity. What if... It's like, where's the line now? Like, what violates a person's dignity and what doesn't? Like, if I say to a chick, wow, look, you look really great in that dress, you know? I've only ever seen you in office attire. That doesn't have the purpose of violating a person's dignity and creating an intimidating, hostile, degrading, humiliating, or offensive environment for the person. But it can have the effect of it if you're dealing with a feminist and you don't know it. It can have the effect of it if you're dealing with the child of a single mother that has lived in a constant state of victimhood, where even someone not saying hello to them is tantamount to attacking them. This is 2019, people. Coming into 2020, shit's just going to get worse. You need to know this stuff, guys, because some of you are going to be required to attend a Christmas party this year. For some of you, it's not mandatory. In fact, what I suggest for all you men out there, particularly the ones where you've got gender quotas in your workplace, particularly the ones where you've got a bunch of feminists who love to pick and choose their men, don't like to take accountability for everyone, and like to squeeze asses and grab dicks when they get drunk. Sorry, someone was just asking if I'm moving. I'm not moving till I finish this motherfucking video. So guys, if you're in that workplace and you know a bunch of other red-pilled guys who are afraid of MeToo allegations, rightly so, who are concerned with what might go on at a Christmas party, or just don't want to watch the train wreck, get together and have a Christmas party of your own, right? And if your workplace says, why did you have your own Christmas party? Just go, what, I can't hang out with a group of friends? I can't have my own Christmas gathering prior to Christmas? If I was to have a Christmas gathering with my family, would that be considered to be against company policy? And just ask them questions which will lead them to their own hypocrisy. Because it's only when they realize their own hypocrisy and they don't have you over a barrel that they'll back the fuck off. Seriously. And at least if you guys get together and have a Christmas party of your own, you're going to have so much fun as a bunch of dudes together. Honestly. And just got a $2 donation from Mexi Man and Cheese. Had Mexican last night. It was awesome. This is why independent contracting is popular now, he says. That's 100% correct, brother, and thank you for the donation. And I just want to say on that point, particularly if you work somewhere where there's a bunch of contractors, network with all the other contractors. Get together with those contractors. You cannot be penalized for excluding women if it's not a company event. You simply can't. And it's not that you excluded them, it's just that you didn't invite them. And if you didn't invite them and they don't know where you're going because you haven't advised them where you're going, they're not going to show up, which means that there's no chance of you having to exclude them, even if you wanted to exclude them, which is kind of the point. Do you get what I'm saying, guys? Seriously, have the Christmas party without the ladies. Let them sit around and go, where have all the good men gone? And then drink themselves into a stupor. And then see them coming in the next 3 days later on the Monday or the Tuesday with a freaking boot on their foot because they sprained their ankle because they were too drunk and they fell down the stairs because they were drinking their sorrows away because they're lonely and miserable, and the only person that gives them any attention anymore is called Fluffy and Mittens. It is prohibited under the Act, but it's still going on. A new survey by the Irish Congress of Trade Unions to mark International Day for the Elimination of Violence Against Women on November 25. Give me a fucking break. 6 days after International Men's Day. Go fuck yourselves. Talked to 1,300 members who experienced sexual harassment and sexual assault in the workplace. Well, they didn't speak to any men, did they? Because if they had, then they would have got much larger numbers than that. But they only care about people who have got one of these between their legs. You know, one of those ones. By the way, stay away from them with your tongue if you don't know where they're being. Which is basically with all of them. Who am I kidding? You guys are still gonna fuck chicks. Just like me. But that's another discussion. 1 in 5 incidences of reported harassment took place at a work-related social event. According to ICTU's social policy officer and lead researcher, Dr. Laura Bambrick, the survey showed that the Christmas party remains the main problem area for off-site harassment. Now, it isn't always a man harassing a woman. Holy shit, they admitted it. Of course they did, because it's a guy speaking out against how MeToo has ruined the Christmas party. I can remember being at a Christmas party in my 20s when a female executive couldn't stress enough how much she and I were on the same team. I slipped off to get a drink and she moved on to someone else. But the survey found that in 81% of cases, the perpetrators of the most recent episode of harassment was a man. There is still work to be done. Well, guess it depends on how you define harassment, right? One of the big changes is that a lot of companies now don't bother with a free bar. This isn't a bad idea, and I agree with that. Other countries seem to understand that drink doesn't get weaker just because it's free. Not here. The demented two-hand drinking that goes on at a free bar in Ireland is the kind of desperation you'd have seen around the lifeboats on the Titanic. But I hope they never get rid of the essence of the Christmas party, which basically that song from The Greatest Showman, This Is Me. Once a year we get to drop the office or factory floor mask and show ourselves as we really are. Most of the time that's a positive thing. There's nothing like discovering the chief financial officer is good at limbo dancing, or that Shirley from the canteen was in the special forces in Iraq. And then there's the shagging. Back in the day, for me, the office party was like a top-notch singles table at a wedding. By the end of the night, everyone was giving everyone else the eye. Sometimes that was as far as it went. Other times you'd walk up on a strange couch and ask the person next to you if anything happened. There were some very awkward breakfasts. There were people who started going out together, got married and had kids. Back before Tinder, the Christmas party season was basically our ancient mating ritual. You'll hear some people say now that Christmas parties aren't what they used to be. I'd say they're just not getting invited to the after party because they're 40-something, have moved up the ladder, and no one wants to see their boss to see them lamping down Jaeger bombs at 7 in the morning. Well, that's also true. Just sucks when you happen to be the boss because you worked hard to get there. But you know, like, I get why there are people that wouldn't take that risk, for sure. You're better off ignoring anyone who tells you that Christmas parties were better in their day. That's been going on forever. I remember this old timer in my first company telling me they once had a mainframe computer you could walk into, and that people used to go in there during Christmas parties for a bit of a "how's your father?" aka, you know what I'm talking about. And by the way, that was his phrase, not Fat Pat Fit. That was Pat Fitzpatrick's phrase, not Fat Fitzpatrick. That was a little bit of a fucking slip of the tongue there. Seriously, does that sound like fun to you? By the way, DaFool101 says you are amazing with a GIF. I fucking love those GIFs, man. Thank you for the $20, bro. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. We are also told that things were better in the past because everyone used to photocopy their ass. No, they didn't. Do you know why? Because they're not idiots. Only a true fool would leave a room full of free booze and rock the boat so they could hop up and plop their backside on a cold glass surface, catching acute gobshiteness from the other idiot in the company that did it before them. By the way, can you imagine all the land whale feminists if they were to do that? Oh, the snail trails on the photocopier. Oh, fuck, I think I just puked in my mouth a little bit. Can you imagine they forget to take the piece of paper with you? Someone rocks up the next morning and sees this entire piece of paper, and all you can see is just this cellulite carved little gap that's just like up against the glass. That's nasty. Man, I wouldn't be surprised if no one super chats me for the rest of this video just for putting that image in their head. From what I can see, the Christmas party is alive and well. I still get to 1 or 2 every year and not a lot has changed. Young people still drink. The women are better dressed than the men. The best conversations are the 2 minutes you have up at the bar with someone you never talked to before. I agree with that last bit about the best conversations being with someone you've never talked to before. Generally because you find something that's interesting and not rehashed. And by the way, there's a reason why the chicks dress better than the men. Because they're the ones that want to hook the hot rich guy in the office. They're the ones that want that. Just saying. It's not unusual for someone to walk away from you mid-sentence because a seat has freed up next to someone they fancy. There it is. There it is. The well-dressed woman gets up and walks over to the dude they really want to bang. It's not going to bang them if he's high value, because he'll be smart enough to know that hashtag MeToo is going to bite him in the ass. There is no shortage of people giving people the eye. Not at me, obviously. Having met my wife at work, I have no need for that kind of carry-on anymore. That doesn't mean people still won't give you the eye, buddy. Just because you're married doesn't mean girls aren't going to want to fuck you. Just because they're married or have a boyfriend doesn't mean they're not going to want to fuck you. Because we are animals first and social creatures second. Understand that, guys? And a lot of what goes on in the world starts to make sense. And it also starts to give you a bit of an idea about how to fight back on it. So let's hear it for the modern Christmas party. The ICTU survey shows that there is still a problem with sexual harassment at work events, of course, and mostly women getting upset about things they don't need to get upset about. Although, absolute fairness, I have seen some really shitty stuff done by fucking blue pill dickheads to women at Christmas parties. Stuff where I want to walk up to them and like, dude, you need to back the fuck up on that shit. Because, you know, I would not tolerate that stuff being done to me by a woman. And she's got the long arm of the law ready to bitch slap you if that keeps happening. And it's like, I just want these guys to feel the pain of how they're fucking up. But at the same time, right, like, I've also got enough decency for my fellow human beings, whether it's a male or a female that's being like creeped up on and having their ass grabbed and like fucking squeezed like this. Because I saw that shit the other night. I was like, dude, what the fuck are you doing? Seriously, man, like, that's dangerous shit. Like, you're stepping way over the line there, right? It's like, it's not even like you're stepping over an invisible line. You're stepping over a line that's been clearly set in stone. Even 30 years ago, that shit wasn't acceptable. So fucking calm down, mate. Anyway, I'd say bull charging Kieran wouldn't get any laughs if he tried to wreck Denise's Christmas party in 2019. And he'd have a bigger problem than a simple hangover the next day. Because he'd be looking for a new job. You're damn straight he would be looking for a new job. And I don't want any of you guys to be having to look for a new job the Monday after your Christmas party. Just because you turned up and smiled at someone who didn't want to be smiled at. Shit's dangerous, man. I want you to be careful. Look out for yourselves. I love you, brothers. No homo. No disrespect to any of my gay brothers out there. But, you know, I'm straight as a motherfucking arrow. Guys, I hope you all enjoyed this video. I hope you got value out of it. I hope you appreciated it. Please give this a thumbs up. Share this with your friends, especially if you know anyone that's got Christmas parties coming up, right? And also comment, because, as you know, YouTube is censoring channels that don't agree with the politically correct SJW agenda, such as mine. So please make sure, thumbs up, share, comment, check out the video, check out the article in the link below if you want to. Give Pat a bit of a help Pat to trend, because this article needs to get out to people that don't catch my videos. If you do want to donate, guys, and you appreciate my stuff, check out the donation details in the link below. I got PayPal, Patreon, Subscribestar, and crypto. And what else? Oh yeah, by the way, if you're using Google Chrome browser or you're looking for a new browser, check out Brave browser. I have put a link in the description below. It costs you nothing. You can get all the extensions of Chrome without the invasion of privacy. I've got some serious privacy blocking features going on there. I think you'll appreciate. It's nice and fast. And if you use it for the first month, you download it via my link, I get a little bit of a kickback to help me continuing to do this stuff. Because like I just went the other day and bought a HDMI feed through to USB-C so that I can actually set my camera up with the lapel mics that I also bought the other day, so that I can do higher quality live streams for you guys. So look, this shit isn't free. I have fast internet, so I can do these videos for you. You know, I do give of my time because I love you guys. But you know, If there's ways that you can help me to support this channel without you having to dig into your pockets, if you don't want to do that, then I'd really appreciate that. Anyway, guys, I'm out of here for now. I'll catch you in the next video, but until next time, peace.